Feels like we're taking a little breath right now in the NCAA tournament. But guess who can't take a little breath? The 16 teams still in the NCAA tournament, specifically the coaches, right? Players, the breath has to be literal. They have to go catch, recover, rest and recovery and ice and make sure your training room is taken care of and everything else. But coaches, this is where you make your name as one of the better coaches in postseason play. How much of an advantage can you get your team with a little less than a week of preparation? What is the perfect amount of studying your opponent without getting too far into they think we're going to do this, so they are going to do that, so we will do this, so they will do that, so they don't know that we know that they know that we know that they like to shoot the three. Like how far is too far and how far is not far enough? Everyone wants to talk about the coaches in the NCAA tournament that set their teams up the best. Well, most of that is actually earned between games. So let's start with NC State. How does Kevin Keatts win the week on Tuesday? Right? How does Kevin Keatts win the week tonight? I'd say there's two ways for every coach, and one of them is very important for Keatts. One way is maximizing the buzz. From a 10,000 feet in the air, bird's eye view perspective, NC State has a lot of lenses, a lot of camera lenses pointed at them right now. Build the buzz. Make sure every transfer out there knows that you just made the Sweet 16 after a dramatic run through the ACC tournament, and darn near everyone in your rotation is a transfer. Make sure every booster knows that those transfers with a name, image, and likeness aren't necessarily going to be cheap in the future. So if they want to keep seeing this type of story, they gotta give cash to the collectives. Benefit from the buzz. Then the other thing involves the big fella, DJ Burns. How do you use Marquette's preparation for DJ Burns against them? Guess who's not sneaking up on anybody from now until forever?
DJ Burns.
DJ Burns. Texas Tech may have been like, wow. And we didn't see this on all the film this year. Guess who's not going to feel, wow, didn't see this coming? Marquette. Because Shaka Smart's no dummy. Marquette has essentially one 6'9" player that plays big minutes. They have another guy that's 6'11" that plays, 12, 15 minutes a game. Everyone else is at a massive size disadvantage to Burns. And even those two guys that match up with him height-wise, the heaviest of the two is 220 pounds. That's giving up, a seventh grader's worth of weight between that guy and DJ Burns. Neither is going to be able to push him around by themselves. So part of me says smell blood in the water and give the ball to DJ Burns. That's what Kevin Keatts should do, especially when DJ Burns, as he told PMT, the podcast, he can sense when players are getting frustrated and use that to his advantage.
I wouldn't say that, but I say I can tell definitely when they begin to, I can tell when they get frustrated, because that's when they'll start to, say little slick things under their breath, to themselves, like they try to, hype themselves up. But when we're having a game like that, it's hard to not keep going.
He can sense it. Smells blood in the water. But here's where you get into they don't know we know. Here's where you get into the chess game. Here's where you get into, if they do this, we can do that. The obvious thing for NC State to do is to put the entire team on DJ Burns' shoulders and say, carry us to the Elite Eight. They don't have anyone that can match up with your size, big guy. Where's our ticket? We're getting on the Express. But how about this? As I said, Shaka Smart, the head coach of Marquette, who's been through the rigmarole of the NCAA tournament, has been to a Final Four. He's not a stupid guy. So if it's that obvious that the plan should be, get the ball to DJ Burns, he's probably going to have something for you. Right? He's going to know everything I just told you. He's going to know how tall his biggest players are. He's going to know how heavy his biggest players are. He's going to have watched both the opening round and the round of 32 with DJ Burns. They're going to have something up their sleeves for handling it, and maybe 3 or 4 things they're going to try. So when they double or triple team DJ Burns, what does NC State have as an answer? Who do they want to set up? Who do they want running into the three? Who do they want getting the ball and drive and kick? Who do they want as the other big guy? Or what about this? When Marquette says, forget guarding him, we're going to go small and try to make him unusable on defense. How do you answer that? Can you play him if they go with 4 guys, 5 guys that can all shoot the three, and that means DJ Burns might have to get out on the perimeter? Like, how do you handle that? That's the stuff that's going to make Kevin Keatts another gigantic bonus. We keep hearing about how many contract bonuses this guy has. That's what's going to make him the next chunk of change, is having an answer to that question. Right? It's there's 2 ways to handle it. The easy, I don't want to say easy way. The simple way is they don't have anybody that can stop DJ. Let's give him the ball. But when you have a week, you might as well get to plan B, plan C, right? What happens if they triple team him? Who are they leaving open, and how can we use that person to our advantage? They don't know. We know they know, right? They don't know that we know that it's obvious that we're going to give the ball to DJ Burns, and they're going to have a plan to stop it. This is where self-scout comes into play, right? Look at your favorite assistant coach and say, how would you stop us, right? If you had their personnel, if you had Marquette's personnel, 2 seed, you had this scorer who's kind of crafty on the wing, you have an undersized big, right? How would you take Marquette's staff, Marquette's roster, and beat us? Now, you don't want to do that like 10 different times, right? That's where you can bog down. You don't want to overload the players, but it's worth it. You don't want to be figuring that out at halftime.
I remember coaching when I was an assistant coach. We made the NCAA tournament 3 times. And I remember one of the first times that I remember coaching in the NCAA tournament, it was we tried to do too much to alter what we did because that's what the other team was doing. And we lost our identity as a team. I remember the frustration just pouring out during the game. It's because we're asking our players to be something and do something that we're not. I think that's something you have to keep in mind as a coach. Like, yeah, you want to adjust, but you don't want to lose your identity either. If you're going to try and ask your players to do something they've never done all season, that's where frustration and thinking and all that kind of stuff starts to come in. So, yeah, you got to tweak and adjust, but you can't lose who you are in terms of your identity as a team.
I hear you. First of all, we've asked this question 900 times about NC State. What is their identity? Like, what is the thing that they've been all season? I don't know.
I think they figured it out over the last couple of weeks. They figured it out,
which is a lot of DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of DJ, and it's Diarra, and yes, you're right. They have at the last possible second gotten a pretty good idea who they are, and you don't want to give back that momentum, but also because they figured it out at the last possible second, there hasn't been much time for the opponents to counter any of it because it's not like it's been on film. Meanwhile, if they figured out who they were in December, then you think by the ACC tournament you would have seen every different counteraction that a team can run. So it is playing that fine line of, hey, we figured out what we are. Let's not give back this momentum, but at the same time, let's respect Shaka Smart and what Marquette does and not expect them to be so confused by what we're doing. And that's part of the awesomeness of the tournament is you alternate between having a week to prepare and having like 36 hours to prepare. And it's going to test both styles of coaching. Can you do it rapid fire? Can you do it with a little bit more time? And that's what State has to do.
The rapid fire, that's the one where we're like, all right, we have a little bit of a scout here, but let's just roll with it. Yeah. So in lacrosse, when we were coaching, your second game was on the very next day. So sometimes you didn't even know who you were playing because, like, well, there's 2 potential opponents. You don't know. So it was just kind of like, all right, we know what we do.
We get to sleep. When you wake up, we'll tell you who we're playing.
Exactly. That's really what it was.